is so many of you tell me that you have a sugar addiction, that you just can't say no to sweets, that you snack on sweets all day, that you have to have a dessert after every meal and so on. Basically that you just cannot live your life without sugar. So today I figured I was going to make a video specifically on how to sort of break that sugar addiction and what I would do if I was really struggling with sugar and sweets in general. Also, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Florian. I'm a certified personal trainer. My mission in here is basically to help you reach your dream body the healthy, the sustainable way. I've done it myself, I'm doing it with clients, so why not you? Now let's get right into the topic of the video, all about sugar addiction. One of the biggest things that you can do is understanding what sugar actually does to your body. And you've got so many different videos and documentaries and research on sugar and what it does to you, and you just pick and choose and figure out which one will work and which one will be the kick in the butt that will make you realize, oh my god, I need to stop that. For example, I'll try to show it here if I see it again. I've seen a video about researchers that were making an experiment on mice or rats, I can't remember. And basically one of the rat was being fed healthy food, right? And the other one was being fed high in sugar, high in fat food. Each rat was then put into water. They can swim, don't worry. And the goal for the rat was to actually find the only spot that wasn't in the water and basically try to, get there as quickly as possible. The first rat that was being fed good food, healthy food, would find it in, I think it was 3 seconds, and just straight into the water and then swim and find it immediately. Then they put the other rat into the water. It was the exact same pool, and that specific rat would just kind of panic, almost go underwater, trying to float but really struggling, and it would take at least 30 seconds for it to get onto the only spot that wasn't, submerged. So that's my video, basically, that's the video that made me decide, let's reduce my sugar intake, because that video kind of showed that sugar makes you less athletic, and I'm a personal trainer, and it also kind of makes you dumb, because it was not a difficult path to get to, the one spot that wasn't underwater. Sugar makes you dumb is what I remember from this video, because I don't want to get stupid as I go just because of the food choices I'm making. I've been a type A student my entire life. I love studying, starting new stuff. It's part of who I am, and it's something I'm kind of recognized for, around my family, friends, at school. So this is so part of my identity that if I have to preserve that by avoiding sugar, that was a strong reason for me, and that still is a strong reason for me to eat as healthy as I can. Does that mean that I don't eat cake and don't eat fruit? Absolutely not. I eat fruits every single day. I think I eat pieces of cakes every week or so, or cookies and stuff like that, and ice cream and everything, because I like it still. I'm just not over consuming it just because I know what it does, and I don't want that to happen to me. Point is, look for different studies and try to find the ones that show something that will resonate with you the most, and that will be your reason for you not to eat as much sugar. So that's the first thing, getting aware of what it does to you. The next step is going to be to reduce and break your addiction and reduce your sugar intake, right? The first thing I would do is trying to figure out which food in my house, or which food am I used to, are the highest in sugar. Obviously you're gonna have donuts, ice creams, cookies, specific chocolates and all of that, sweets. One thing about me is that I've never enjoyed sweets. It's just gonna make me not sick, but I just don't like it. So that's something I'm really lucky about. Point being, you kind of want to look into your house and try to find the food that are highest in sugar, and those are probably the one you're gonna want to not completely cut out, but at least reduce at first. It is going to be a process. You are going to start with, being aware of how much you consume of that per day, per week, and then try to reduce that. For example, let's say that you drink 4 Cokes per day, the 4 sugar one. Maybe reduce to 3, and then 2, and then 1. You don't do it overnight. You don't go cold turkey from 4 Cokes to 0. You want to go slowly, because sugar addiction is real. Every couple of weeks, try to reduce a little bit more to an amount that you feel better about. Cutting sugar out completely will lead or can lead to withdrawal symptoms, so you don't want that, and that's why you want to do it gradually. You know, set goals. For example, for 1 week, write down your entire consumption of sugar, everything that you've eaten, and without judgment, just let yourself live, and then decide, okay, I'm going to reduce it slowly, and, you know, create goals based on that. What does slowly mean to you, and what's the end goal? Because it's very unrealistic to say I want to cut out sugar completely. I think I want to cut out sugar to only the 10% of the consumption I'm having now. Would be, for example, oh, you know, you start with 20% and then 10% and so on. It's very difficult to completely cut it to zero. So I wouldn't try to recommend that, but at least try to reduce. One thing that you can do is trying to find healthy substitutes. For example, let's say that you enjoy having dessert after, you know, lunch and dinner. I'm the same, but instead of going for ice cream, for example, twice per day, which would add up quite quickly, I really love fruits, and watermelons, mangoes, bananas are some of my favorite fruits. So I tend to gravitate towards that after my meal. For example, today after lunch, I had 1 peach and 3 Brazil nuts, because I like to end up on a sweet note, but I also know that I want to feel good afterwards, and that if I finish with something like high in sugar, I'm just not gonna feel as good. So I'm trying to find substitutes, and fruits are really acceptable, delicious dessert. One thing that makes you crave sugar is when you have big crashes throughout the day. So one thing I do to prevent my blood sugar to go high and then crash, making me want more sugar, is to drink a glass of apple cider vinegar, so 1 tablespoon of that and then some water. That actually reduces the peak by 25-30%, which can be huge and really make a difference. So I always start my day with that, and then I'm gonna have that before lunch and before my afternoon snack and before dinner, just because I see the difference from when I do that and when I don't, and just the difference in terms of energy, but really even more so in terms of cravings. Right, another thing that could really play a huge role is getting enough water. It may seem really basic, but I've noticed that if I don't drink enough water and if I'm dehydrated, I'm going to be feeling hungrier and not hungry for the healthy food. Same for sleep. If I'm sleep deprived, you can bet that I'm gonna be tired and craving sugar. So try to aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and that makes so much sense, right? That you would crave sugar. If you didn't get the energy you need through sleep, your body is going to try to get it through carbs, mostly sugar, and you know, that's when you end up craving all day a lot of sweet stuff. Another thing that I've noticed is when I'm highly stressed, I tend to crave more food, especially sugar. Learning to manage your stress levels in healthier way, like going for walks, calling a friend, or I don't know, sauna, whatever actually makes you feel good and relaxed, could be a good option instead of trying to eat food, stuff yourself basically to not have to think about the stress levels and the stressful stuff happening in your life. But the point with everything I'm telling you right now is it has to be gradual, so you don't want to quit overnight, you just want to reduce slowly, and that means that you kind of need to plan accordingly. You want to write down when you feel the craving, what are you craving, can you find substitutes, or can you actually allow yourself a small amount. For example, what I like to do is, let's say I'm craving a donut. It hasn't happened in a while, but let's say that's something I'm craving. I will have a smoothie alongside it. That would be high in protein, healthy fats, and obviously the fruits are going to be the carbs. So the point is to have a complete meal around it. That way you won't have that big of a blood sugar spike after you eat that specific sweet food. I can make an entire video on blood sugar spike and all of that if you're interested. But it's kind of sciencey and I didn't really want to get into that today. I like to mix healthy food with less healthy food and eat that together. That way I'm satisfied in terms of my cravings, but also in terms of my hunger, because obviously when you're hungry, your body is not hungry for the sugar, it's hungry for the nutrients. But with the society we live in, we basically are like bombarded with so much sugar and addictive stuff that that's what you feel like you need, but your body is craving the nutrients. I hope that the don't try to be too hard on yourself and don't quit cold turkey is really gonna hit home. And the point is that you can definitely achieve balance and not be addicted to sugar anymore if you also allow yourself some of it. Because if it becomes that forbidden food, you are going to want to break the rule and eat the sugar. So, you know, occasionally definitely allow yourself the sugar, allow yourself the sweet treats that you're craving. It can be portion control, like you can be really mindful of the amount that you're eating. You can, as I said, eat it with something healthy. And that's why I really recommend the 75-25 rule, or even the 80-20, right? So 80% of the time your food should be healthy, whole food, nutrient dense, all of that, and then 20% gets whatever you crave, whatever you want, and it can be the sugar, it can be the sweets. Instead of trying to be rigid and really strict about, no, I can't eat sugar, sugar is bad. Sure, sugar is bad, but we are still living in a society that is like, it's very difficult to avoid sugar. And you can read the labels and you can really make sure that it doesn't have extra sugar, but you are going to quickly see that literally everything has. And it's very difficult to get out of it, and it can be really feel like a second full-time job, which I don't want you to feel like getting healthy and so on. Try to keep it balanced instead of going from one end of the spectrum when you're going to eat the sugar, like all of it, all at once, all the time, to restricting completely and absolutely feeling miserable. If you eat enough whole food, nutritious food and so on, it's not going to have that big of an impact. It's going to be so much more sustainable. You are actually going to be able to keep these new habits of reduced sugar intake for so much longer. I do believe that if you do follow the tips that I've given you, you can break your sugar addiction without actually making yourself miserable, and also while improving your health along the journey. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. If you're someone who wants to lose 20+ pounds within 90 days without starving yourself, cutting out your favorite food, without spending hours on the treadmill, and you know, if you are maybe struggling to actually manage your sweet cravings and so on, I highly suggest you book a call with me down below. This is a free consultation call. We'll see if and how I can support you, and if I can, I will welcome you into my program. I've done it myself, I'm doing it with clients, so why not you? And as I said, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you so much for watching. You know, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.